Hello. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Julia, as Kurt said, and I have the life of the community. Would you like to find out more about Unitarian Universalism and what it means to become a member here at Neighborhood? Join our minister, Sally. Where's Sally? There you are. After service from noon today till 1:30 for an information session. Let's talk about money. If you do want to talk about money, come to Neighborhood's annual budget meeting on January 26th at 12:30. And for more information, you can speak to Kendrew. And you're all invited to celebrate our 25th anniversary with food, song, memories, and fun on February 2nd from 12:30 till 3. And again, you can talk to Kendra if you need more information on that. Our neighborhood galleries present weeds and their relatives and portraits of an overlooked world, and you can meet the artists on February 2nd. There's their work. And could one of these friendly-looking people be you? If you're looking for a fun way, an easy way to get involved here, join the team of Sunday greeters. There will be a pizza party training on February 5th at 6:30. And Neighborhood now has a mask section right over here, and masks are available, and this is a permanent feature of our services. Neighborhood presents an evening of queer folks on February 23rd at 8 p.m. Tickets are $20, RSVP because spots are limited. Stitch to Enrich is this Wednesday, January 22nd from 12 till 3:30 in the Cappuccino Room. Bring whatever kind of creative medium you wish, and you can contact Gail Raynard if you need more information. Are you interested in joining the Comfort Choir? They sing in the palliative care unit at Michael Guerin Hospital. And you can contact Suzanne, our music director, for more information. There's going to be a new members info and rehearsal on February 1st from 3 till 5 here. Why don't more Jews and Israelis speak out about Palestine? Letter to My Tribe, a video essay, will be presented here at Neighborhood on January 25th. The filmmaker, B.H. Yael, will be present for a discussion. Doors open at 7. If you have questions on Judaism, on January 26th, our guest speaker, Diana Ralph, will try to answer your questions. You can use I can see it from here, the Jew Q box in the Cappuccino Room to ask the questions you've always wondered about but never had anybody to ask. The Social Environmental Action Committee invites you to share your ideas on what we can do for social justice today after service from 12:15 till 1 right here. Or sorry, February 6th. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you. And finally, there's no slide for this, but there will be a Lifespan Learning Committee meeting in the Rainbow Room today after service to discuss our dreams, hopes, achievements, and goals to support our young people and their families. And next Sunday, love is at the center, justice is our theme. Our message is Judaism, wrestling with God. Our speaker is Diana Ralph. Music is provided by Suzanne and friends. Our service weaver is Peter Marmarick. And our time for all ages is myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Lots going on. This will be emailed if you're on our mailing list on Friday as well. This morning, I want to welcome you to Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Congregation service. I want to thank you for joining us here in person or whether you're joining us via Zoom. First, I want to acknowledge that the land on which we are gathering this morning is the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit and has been lived on also by the Wendat, Anishinaabeg Nation, Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and more recently, other First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. As I greet you today, I acknowledge this land, the people, and all other beings, animate and inanimate, today as well as the ancestors. This area has been a place of communities coming together for over 15,000 years. On October 29th, 2010, the Honorable John Duncan, Minister of Indian Affairs and Northern Development, together with Chief Brian Laforme and community members, took a major step forward on the path of reconciliation and renewal with the signing of a $145 million claim, resolving a dispute tied to the history of Toronto, Canada's largest city. Of course, there still remain many more outstanding claims, and I will do my part to support the resolution of them. My name is Allison Kabayama, and I will be your service weaver this morning. We start today's service by creating sacred space. To help us all stay undistracted in sacred space, I ask that you please take a moment and silence your phones now. And I invite you to join me in reading our invocation, which will be displayed. Let us cast the circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast the circle of a cherished space here, a space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow a different kind of life, a life of graciousness, of creative intelligence, a place of life and spirit for ourselves and our families. This morning, our chalice will be lit by Sally. So good to have you here. Instead of lighting it anew, we're taking the light from the children's flame and then passing it to our own chalice. In this way, may we be inspired to keep the children's fire alive in our hearts. We light this chalice to remember, to light the fire within our own hearts. And our prelude today will be provided by Cassie Norton.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out all the names, the preludes, and the congregational songs. So, yeah. No. I know which one I'm doing. but this one has it has a little bit. I think the congregational songs I give you guys more things to do. This is a song for Ahad Tamimi, and it has so there's sort of like a response. I say the words, and they push you down, and you say, but you get back up. Okay, so maybe we'll try that. We'll just try it saying, and they push you down, you get back up, and I'm going to say it with you too, by the way. And the things you do, say enough is enough. So, and the things you do, say enough is enough. Okay, so. I mean, if you get more of them, that's good too. But that part's really nice. So, And they push you down, but you get back up. And you get to get back up in the notes. And the things you do say enough is enough. Or you could stay on the same note. You can pick some harmonies for that if you want. Okay, here it is. Oh, your smile gets me through the day, 'cause ordinary people have extraordinary ways, and they push you down, but you get back up, and the things you do say enough is enough. Sometimes I feel too old to not do what I'm told, and my tongue gets tied up telling age-old lies. But when I take the time to look and see, I see your sweet face smiling back up at me. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. Yeah, and your smile gets me through the day, 'cause ordinary people have extraordinary ways, and they push you down, but you get back up, and the things you do say enough is enough. She was about 16, still not afraid to dream. She looked up in his face and said, that's all that would take. Yeah, we've had enough of your games with guns and all of the beauty that you've undone. Oh, here I am and I have something to say. I know your life is black and white, but there are a million shades of gray, yeah, and pink and purple and red and blue, and a million people who have more fun than you. And if you want to whistle in this part or anything, or sing something, yeah, and your smile gets me through the day, 'cause ordinary people have extraordinary ways, and they push you down, but you get back up, and the things you do say enough is enough. Yeah, we need that child standing on her own 2 feet, the one who knows in her heart that alone we are weak. Yeah, alone we're weak, but together we're strong. So here's a hand, I hope you'll come along. Yeah, and your smile gets me through the day, 'cause ordinary people have extraordinary ways, and they push you down, but you get back up, and the things you do say enough is enough. Yeah, as the flames engulf you, rise above. Yeah, with a smile on your face you say, this is love. And as the fire burns high you say, I choose love. Yay! That was the most whistling that song ever got.
Wonderful. Thank you. Now, as we continue in sacred space, I thank all those many staff and volunteers who have created this service. We have a new mask-only section on the west by the library, and it's already been explained, but there are masks available if you want to sit and socially distance as well as appropriate. Our services are live on Zoom and recorded for YouTube. The areas at the sides are not camera visible and have quiet spots if you prefer them. I'd like to thank our guest musician, Cassie Norton, for providing our wonderful prelude today. And we also have our returning guest speaker, Kofi Hope, about whom I will share more later on in the service. At Neighborhood, we are open to many beliefs and learn from many traditions. We welcome all people who are looking for a spiritual community. If you're visiting us in person for the first time, we welcome you and encourage you to stay after service for coffee time. Please take a red mug, and we'll know by that you're interested in talking to us perhaps about what happens at Neighborhood or how you found us, or you can tell us what you're looking for in a spiritual community. Our services can vary from week to week, so we ask that you come and for a few to sample a sense of what we are doing here and why you might want to be here also. The youth room is going to be open after service for those who want a quieter place to talk. Our mission at Neighborhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of our world. Our theme for this 6-week period is the UU value justice, and our theme for today is justice is what love looks like in the public. I'll say that again. Justice is what love looks like in public. So what does a just, love-based community look like? One of the things I remember being told by a wise woman was to always approach an interpersonal difficulty with another person from a place of love. I try to hold a vision of how I would like things to be at the end, with the relationship or the society perhaps changed but intact. We can hold the power sometimes to hurt another, especially when we feel we have been harmed and felt ourselves to be in the right. Our highest self is perhaps to not seek retribution, but rather to resist the impulse to strike. Please know that I'm not talking about how one should behave in the midst of an assault or witnessing someone suffering egregious harm. In that case, definitely strike back. And we can talk later about how I think you might best defend yourself in the face of an actual attack. We need not be silent witnesses when there are bad laws or bad behavior. Justice demands that we testify and agitate where needed. And generally speaking, we best work towards solutions that strive to include where possible. Our slide, which represents the theme of justice, shows the scales of justice with a heart at the center, centering love. In honor of the fact that tomorrow is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, I would like to share some of his words. Dr. Martin Luther King told us that power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. Let's take a moment now to greet our neighbors around us. And after you've greeted a few, perhaps take a wave to our friends joining on Zoom, there's a camera on the back wall here, and Julia will sound a chime when it's time to end. Thank you. Yeah, I think we can do it. Thank you for the enthusiasm of greeting. We will have time for more. It's always a question of when to ring the chimes. I see us getting out there. So now we have our first song, congregational song. You may want to stand, and Cassie's going to lead us in a song. Earth is our home.
So this one has a bit more involved part, and actually you might want to get on the mic to lead this part. So it goes underneath the verse, so we can sing the chorus together. And Suzanne told me that she sang this with you before.
Probably haven't. It's been a while, but
okay. So the part, your part, what you're saying is, no one owns the earth, our home. This is on the verse. We'll get to it. So it's no one owns the earth, our home. So just say it.
No one owns the earth, our home.
Okay. So, no. Oh, I gotta start playing it. Sorry, I'm not getting the note.
Okay.
No one owns the earth, our home.
No one owns the earth, our home.
And if you like slightly higher,
no one owns the earth, our home.
The higher one goes up at the end, okay. But I'm gonna sing it with you each time. I'll sing both parts each time, and then I'll sing a verse, so you guys can keep singing that. Okay. The earth, it is our home, but it's never been anyone's to own. We're not alone, we share our home with all the animals, the plants, and the trees. We need them all, from big to small, owns the earth, our home. No one owns the earth, our home. Each species has one owns the earth, our home. No one owns the earth, our home. Bees pollinate so the plants can grow, the food we eat from the seeds we sow. Trees dry our waste into their leaves and turn it into the air we breathe. Down in the depths, the coral reefs protect the coast from the storms at sea. Up in the sky, the birds spread seeds that grow into the trees we need to breathe. We're not alone, we share our home with all the animals, the plants, and the trees. We need them all, from big to small, to fill our skies, our land, and our seas. We're not alone, we share our home with all the animals, the plants, and the trees. We need them all, from big to small, to fill our skies, our land, and our seas. No one owns the earth, our home. No one owns the earth, our home. Each species has a thing it does we need, but we don't know because the web is wide. When you look inside, there are connections hidden to the eye. Our home has never been anyone's to own. We're not alone, we share our home with all the animals, the plants, and the trees. We need them all, from big to small, to fill our skies, our land, and our seas. We're not alone, we share our home with all the animals, the plants, and the trees. We need them all, from big to small, to fill our skies, our land, and our seas. The earth, it is our home, but it's never been anyone's to own. Whoa, you guys definitely knew that. You sang that before, for sure.
Thank you, Cassie. That was lovely. And I welcome, this is the time for all ages, so I welcome anybody who would like to join me. I see some kids. Well, for our first slide, which is coming up, this is a picture of Martin Luther King when he was a kid. And Martin Luther King was a very ordinary child. He, he played sports with the neighborhood kids, and, he was a newspaper boy, and he also, guess what his favorite dessert was? You know what? He probably liked all those things, and pie is right. He really loved pecan pie. That was his favorite. So Martin Luther King and I share a favorite dessert. We have that in common. And, he used to say, when I grow up, I want to be a fireman. But as we all know, that was not meant to be. Because as a black kid, growing up where he did, he noticed a lot of things that just didn't feel right. And when he got older, he decided, to quote Cassie, that enough was enough. Can we have the next slide? So, this is a photo of Martin Luther King with one of his 4 children. And you can see from this photo what a caring parent he must have been. And like many parents of black kids, he wanted, to quote his words, he wanted a place where his children would be judged by the kind of person, by the kind of people they were, rather than the color of their skin. Could we have the next slide? This is Martin Luther King leading a peaceful protest. And he believed that if something is unjust or unfair, you should speak up against it. And he had seen and felt a big problem that African Americans were not being given equal rights and that there was a lot of racism going around. So he made speeches and protests about this. And it came from a place of, he said, I choose love and I choose peace rather than violence to get his messages out. And actually this picture makes me think of Cassie's song that we just sang. What is it? Alone we're weak, but together we're strong. So lend a hand. And yes, and so here's a hand, and I hope you'll come along. Yeah, that seems to go well with that. Could we have the next slide? And this is the famous I Have a Dream speech that Martin Luther King is giving. And this is one of the most famous speeches in all of history. And I'm going to share a quote from a section of his speech. And if America is to be a great nation, let freedom ring. Black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics will be able to join hands and sing, "We are free at last." And to this day, and as long as it takes, ordinary people with coming from a place of love at their center will, in extraordinary ways, as Cassie said, will. And now if you want to join Allison and me, we're going to teach you the Martin Luther King song.
So this is a call and response song, so I hope that you'll respond. This is a song that was written by Ken Whiteley, and Ken Whiteley often came and did services at Neighborhood in honor of Martin Luther King Day. So it's pretty straightforward. I'm pretty sure you'll catch on. I'll just sing one line and you echo it back. And it starts off, Oh, Martin Luther King. Oh, Martin
Luther King.
Oh, Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King. Oh, Martin Luther King.
Luther King.
And I just want to sing your name.
I just want to sing your name.
He said, I have a dream.
He said,
He said, I have a dream. Sure, you can stand if you want. He said, I have a dream. And I just want to sing your name. It's up to us to keep the dream alive. It's up to us to keep the dream alive. It's up to us to keep the dream alive. And I just want to sing your name. Oh, Martin Luther King. Oh, Martin Luther King. Oh, Martin Luther King. Oh, Martin Luther King. And I just want to sing your name. Yes, I just want to sing your name. And I just want to sing your name. Our guest speaker, Kofi Hope, is a Rhodes Scholar and has a doctorate in politics from Oxford University. He is the co-founder of Monumental, a Toronto-based strategic advisory firm. Kofi is an urbanist in residence at the University of Toronto School of Cities, an emeritus Bousfield Scholar with the Geography and Planning Department, and a senior fellow at the Monk School of Global Affairs and Public Policy. Kofi has written and spoken extensively across the Canadian media, including work as a freelance columnist with the Toronto Star. He serves as a board member for the Centre of Addiction and Mental Health, CAMH, and has volunteered widely across Toronto. In 2017, he was the winner of the Jane Jacobs Prize, and in 2018, a rising star in Toronto Life's Power List. Kofi was the co-founder and former executive director of Toronto-based charity, the CEE Centre for Young Black Professionals, Canada's largest charity serving Black youth. Kofi, please.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. So blessings to you all. It's always a pleasure to join you here at Neighborhood. Been able to speak with your congregation quite a few times over the years, and I'm very happy to be back. So as most of you probably know, this week we celebrated Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. I think it was on the 15th. And one of the lesser known ideas that King spoke about, which so elegantly brought together his theological views with his political perspectives, was the idea of the beloved community. Now, like many of King's ideas, he built on the work of thinkers before him, and the beloved community came originally from a philosopher-theologian called Josiah Royce. Many people would see the beloved community as King's version of the kingdom of God, that idealized society which grounded the ministry and preaching of Jesus of Nazareth. To King, the beloved community was what you have after the ultimate triumph of the philosophy of nonviolence. The society we achieve when people can reach a place where all our conflicts can be settled without violence or resentment, where we recognize the interdependent nature of all life on earth, where the means we use are just as compassionate and kind as the ends we are trying to achieve. Ultimately, it is a society where we work together to end social ills through centering love and compassion. And as I've been thinking about today's talk, I've thought about this vision King had of a different kind of society, one that would overcome his triple evils, the evils of racism, militarism, and extreme materialism. To King, ultimately, it was love-based practice that was a correct response to these three ills. And as I was thinking about this talk, the grounding concept that arose in my mind was a phrase from another African-American theologian, Cornel West, Dr. Cornel West, who talks about the role of love in society. And as West famously put it, justice is what love looks like in public. And I absolutely love this concept, the idea that a just society, a beloved community, a place free of poverty, free of militarism, free of discrimination, where we recognize our interconnectedness with the natural world and each other, well, this is nothing more than love lived out in public. Because inherently, we all, to some level, understand what love can look like in our private lives and in our interpersonal relationships. And so we can use those experiences from the personal as a springboard to the political, to the level of society. And why I think it's so important to talk about a society based on love, a politics based on love, is the fact that doing so is really out of fashion today. If you look at the news, and hey, right, it's depressing. And all over the world, we're seeing a politics that's not being driven by love, but by power, by the exertion of power and the quest to regain it. A wave of strong men and strong women, a reignited macho approach to politics that says the enemy is wokeness, the enemy is bleeding hearts who've made us stray from our roots, who made us feel ashamed of our history, who filled our country with immigrants, who messed up society so bad that we need them, these strong people, to come and fight like hell to take back our countries, fix our brokenness, make things great again. And a time where so many are feeling vulnerable, so many are untrusting, so many are lonely, angry, and afraid. So many just feel that the system is rigged against them. This kind of politics certainly can find a receptive audience. And at the same time, to talk about a politics that's based on love, a society centered on love, a beloved community, well, ideas like this, they're made to seem naive. It's made to seem too idealized, too unrealistic, like this is some childish fantasy, right? Because politics, it's supposed to be about dunking on your opponents, about owning them in intellectual debates, about schooling them, shooting them down, calling them out, and canceling them. And if this is our reality, if this is the world we live in, it can seem at times almost laughable for any leader to bring forward a message of love. In a world where the killing in Gaza went on relentlessly for over a year, where great powers are talking about nuclear war again, where we want borders to be closed, people kept out, allies no longer seem to be our friends, where we're told we have to spend more and more of our budget on bombs and tanks, and our societies are becoming deeply politically divided, who has time for love-based politics? And this isn't just a critique of the political right or populists. Even though the left is supposed to be all about inclusion, we can still see people on the progressive side fighting the culture wars with glee, battling each other, demonizing, and being inflexible in their position. Everyone seems so caught up in showing why the other side is not just wrong, but bad. Bad values, bad morals, bad intentions. But here, I think about the long and sacred history of communities of faith giving an alternative, giving a commitment to love-based practice despite where the mainstream society was going, right? And we see that in that long procession of faith-based disciples of love who've called out for a different type of society, from peace activists to abolitionists, pacifists, and conscientious objectors. And we know, in all the cases that I mentioned, the Unitarian Universalist presence has been there. In the civil rights movement, your community was there. Women's suffrage, you were there. LGBTQ rights, there was activism. Environmental justice, immigration and refugee rights. All of them, your community played a vital role. And so I say, friends, don't be disheartened if it feels a little embarrassing or out of step with our times to say, hey, maybe we need to put love back in our politics today. And I know it's not easy. I spent many years, about 3 years, every Friday morning being a talking head for conservative talk radio in the city, and I know how weird it can come off when you try to talk about modern politics from a lens of love. But every time you might feel worried, every time you might feel out of place, bringing it into the conversation, just think of the courage our forebears had to speak out against slavery when everyone was being taught in church that slavery was sanctioned by God and it was in the Bible, when those spoke up about women's equality, when tradition and science were firmly behind the idea that the inferiority of women was just natural, it's just how it was, or those who would speak out against war when their entire nations were in the throes of nationalism and jingoism and war fever. My point just being, those folks from the past, in some ways, had it much harder, yet they found the courage, despite the popular climate, to call out for justice and love. But when we're crying out for a just society, what are we calling for? Well, first, for me, it means adding some nuance to our understanding of love, right? It doesn't mean we don't have conflicts, that we don't stand up for things we believe in, that we don't speak hard truths to power. And it doesn't mean we just submit to the demands of others. And we all know from our personal lives that acting like that, that's not love in a personal relationship. That in our own lives, many times, love requires courage. But what it does make me think of is, what kind of love, or how do we add these layers to love? And this is something Dr. King wrote about at length. And he talked about this concept of agape love, right? He spoke about the Greek that was used at the time the Gospels were being written, and said they actually had multiple meanings of love in the Greek language at that time. There was a meaning of romantic love. There was fraternal love, the love we feel to friends and families. And then there's this idea of agape love, that general love for all humanity, that appreciation of the divine in each person, the intrinsic value of all. And it's agape love we're talking about here. And if we are a society that truly lives out that philosophy, then I believe it starts with respect. We respect all human beings. We believe that there should be a society where living out that respect appreciates and affirms the rights and freedom and dignity of every member of the community. But it also means that we have a society and a politics that tries to elevate what we have in common, that looks to include over the compulsion to divide into teams that are constantly in struggle. Instead, let's think about society as, at their best, how families function, right? Within our families, we can certainly disagree, we can even fight, but ultimately, the base of respect and love allows us to move forward and at times compromise for the good of our family. And doing this allows a different approach to how we speak to each other and how we even think about ourselves as a political community. Because loving people fully means accepting the imperfections of that person and still loving them with your whole heart despite them. That people don't ever need to be perfect to deserve your love and respect. And in politics, what does this mean? Well, it means adding a whole lot more grace to our conversations. My business partner, Zara, she taught me this great frame to look at contentious conversations. She said, always ask yourself, are you trying to build a bridge or make a point? Meaning, if you're in an important conversation, think, am I just trying to engage in debate club, trying to counter everything that other person says with a retort, so ultimately I can win the conversation? Or am I trying to build a bridge to practice empathy and understanding with the other person and ultimately embody curiosity and humility to say, interesting that you see it that way. So here's where I see it. And maybe, just maybe, here is where our ideas and our views are actually more connected than we thought. Right now, especially in social media, which I spoke about a lot the last time I was here, we live in a context where the technologies are really for making points, for hot takes, for retorts, for quick, witty disses and put-downs. But we have to bring the bridges back. A society that centers love means a democracy where we try to use our differing opinions as raw material for new and common solutions. During this last US election, there was this viral clip I saw, maybe some of you saw it, that illustrated it. And what they did was they did a mashup of clips from previous presidential debates, going all the way back to Kennedy and Nixon. And across these clips. What was just like shocking, mind-blowing, was members from both parties, candidates on all sides. It was this common theme of being respectful to each other, of saying multiple times, you know, even if we disagree, we're all Americans and we all love our country. Our differences are not personal, they're about policy. And it was just so shocking to watch. It's like, what world is this from? When you look at the debates and how we approach politics now. And a politics like that one is where compromise and common ground is easier. And as I say to people, even if you disagree with someone fully and wholeheartedly and want to change their mind and behavior, yelling at them, putting them down, and calling them an idiot, rhetorically, is almost always the best way to guarantee they will never change their position. It's only when we lead with love and empathy that we actually have a chance to change people's minds and hearts. And so love in public means we have to build a democracy where we can debate and question, but also using dialogue that allows for building bridges and not just this constant back and forth battle. Another reflection from the personal to the political. I had just said before, and I'll say it again, one thing I think we all learn throughout our lives about loving people is to truly love a human being, you have to learn to love them despite their imperfections. And the same for us love-based society. It's one where we extend that agape love to everyone, where there aren't some people who deserve to get the benefits of society and some people who don't. And we see this in politics today all the time, in ideas like the deserving poor and the undeserving poor. Or now we have the good immigrants versus, oh, those are the bad immigrants. Situation where society says there's some people who haven't done enough to deserve our help, who are struggling because of bad decisions they made. And they don't deserve our help, while others do. And you saw it the other day. Doug Ford, again continued that myth about folks who are experiencing homelessness, that the unhoused are lazy, when he said something along the lines of, they need to get off their butts and get back to work. The idea, unhoused people aren't the deserving poor. They don't deserve accommodation and support because they made bad decisions. Just like all the time, we can get behind supporting children in poverty, which is widely supported, but parents in poverty? Single adults in poverty? Well, now that's controversial. We don't want to spoil those people, so we keep welfare payments in Ontario so low, those in Ontario works in this city can't afford to pay rent and afford groceries. Because the thinking goes, well, if you're an adult and you're poor, well, you don't deserve our full sympathy. But this is not what love looks like in public. Moralizing and politicizing suffering, creating tiers and categories about who should be helped and who shouldn't, that is not the beloved community. The beloved community demands that all, regardless of what they've done or where they come from, deserve that basic level of dignity and access to food, shelter, education, and healthcare. All the things to not just survive, but to thrive. Similarly, a just community, a love-based community, only works when we have vibrant institutions and organizations that allow us to push forward the struggle for social justice. And so I'd say, just like living out love in politics means showing grace to individuals we may not agree with, it also, maybe controversial take, means showing grace towards institutions. Now, I get it. Many of our institutions are not performing well, and we may not always agree with them. Our congregation may not be perfect. I'm not talking about this one, but hypothetically. Our local schools may not be exactly what we'd like to see for our kids. City Hall may not always make the right decisions or the decisions we'd like to see them make there. But if we want a just society, we need these institutions, big and small, to thrive, to work well. And it means giving them and the people in them some grace. Doesn't mean we're silent when they fail to live out to their missions. But instead, it means engaging them with grace and a commitment to help build and improve these critical parts of our society for all of our benefit. In short, a love-based society says, we can't take the easy road of throwing up our hands and saying, nothing is good enough, nothing is fair enough, nothing is democratic enough, nothing is inclusive enough, and just disengaging and sitting off in our own little corner on our high horse, critiquing everything and every organization and every way people come together. No, participating in a love-based society means rolling up our sleeves, leaning in, getting into the messiness, but saying we can do better, we must do better. And because I love my community, I'm showing up for it. You know, I think about the idea of Canada as a concept, right? And there's lots of arguments back on both sides about patriotism these days. But I firmly believe we can be fully honest about the crimes and the mistakes Canada has made and continues to make, while at the same time saying we love this country we're part of, and we're going to fight to make it better. To get to that beloved community means we as citizens need to make it so, through engaging with our neighbors, our local organizations, and even our government. And if we think these institutions have failed us, okay, even more reason to engage. And sometimes we do this within systems, within the organizations, and sometimes it's marching and advocating on the outside of them. Love in action does not mean just getting along to get along. But it does mean that we're always striving for connection, for more common understanding, and recognizing those we are in opposition with today, hopefully that is a temporary state, and one day we might stand with them as allies. Because ultimately, friends, we're one species, we're one community, all struggling to make it, living on a small ball of rock, hurtling through a dangerous and inhospitable universe. And we are intimately and undeniably connected to each other and all living things on this planet. And those bonds and connections are the strongest, are the most authentic when they are reinforced by love. Friends, listen. I'll be honest, it might be tough to see that love in the coming weeks, right? As Trump comes back, Canada might face these insane tariffs of a generational threat to our prosperity. Global conflicts remain. The climate crisis continues, right? Los Angeles might still be smoldering. If we just look to the news, it may seem that the beloved community is farther away than ever. But instead, friends, let's look to each other. In these times, courage means looking through the divides and divisions, embracing our common humanity, and striving to live out that agape love, to put love back into our politics, knowing the only way we get a community where everyone is treated with dignity and respect is if we build it together. Thank you, everyone, and blessings.
It be so. I have a time now for meditation or reflection. Today I'm going to give a guided meditation, but I ask you to find a comfortable spot in your seat, and you can close your eyes or lower your gaze, soften your gaze, whatever feels comfortable to you. This is a meditation on love and kindness while we're doing the work of justice. I ask you to call to mind someone who has been a support for you as you've experimented with, explored, or learned something about justice in your own life, in the lives of others. I think of this person as a benefactor along the way in our journey to deepen our understanding of justice in our own life, injustice, and the suffering it causes. Contemplate how we might thrive, notwithstanding the fact that injustice is real. How we might do the work of alleviating injustice in our time. Think of a benefactor, someone who's helped you in some way. It could be a family member, a friend, a teacher, someone who you appreciate for helping to guide you, support you, ground you. As you breathe in and out, really bring kindness in. If you're having trouble identifying just the right person, or if you feel like you could use more of such a person in your life, just breathe in and out and allow whatever name or person that comes to mind to be the person for now. The invitation is to offer this wish to that person. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well in body and in mind. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be truly joyful, easeful, and free. Now let the image or the reflection of that person dissolve a bit and come back to the sensations of just sitting and breathing. Call to mind your own being and body, whether now or at a point when you really started learning, unwanted or otherwise, about injustice. Really, you're visualizing, calling to mind your own being and body, either right now or at a prior time. This is meant to center on your experience, learning, exploring justice and injustice, its impact on you. We're going to invite ourselves to bring loving kindness right to bear on this sense of ourselves as we engage in our own learning, deepening our awareness, deepening our capacity to heal. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well in body and in mind as I examine injustice and do my own work to heal and to support alleviating suffering. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers as I do this work. May I be truly joyful, peaceful, liberated, and free. Now the invitation is to call to mind those you know to be doing the work of making us all more aware about justice, trying to minimize the harms of injustice. This could be a person who's inspired you by working for justice throughout history or in our time right now, an advocate that you're thinking of in your community, in your workplace, in your community of practice, or in the public realm. This may be a person, or this may be a whole group or community that comes to mind when you think of those who are advancing our efforts to become more aware of injustice and harms. See if we can call to mind folks that we see as kind of heroes, or folks that we admire, we're inspired by. The invitation is to expand our loving kindness wishes. We know that those folks who are in the front lines are suffering too, so we offer these words or phrases that you would craft for your own. Offer right now toward those who have been advancing the cause of justice. May you each and all be filled with loving kindness. May you be well in body and in mind. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be truly joyful, easeful, and free. Let those images go and simply come back to sensations of breathing and sitting. Now we'll call to mind the image of a person or a group of people that you may feel some tension with around the work of justice. Maybe there are folks that you think don't get it or aren't interested in doing this work in the way that you are or the way that you think they should be. We're calling to mind a person or a group of folk with whom we may be feeling some difficulty or some challenge. What we're going to do is see if we can, as best we can, offer loving kindness to that person. Again, we're just going to see what arises. We're going to practice as best as we can with this one, recognizing we're all works in progress and we're all learning as we go. Invite the image of the person or the group with whom we may be having difficulty as we think about doing the work of justice in a way that might include them. May you each and all be filled with loving kindness. May you be well in body and in mind. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be truly joyful, useful, and free. We can repeat those phrases or some version of them as we sit together. As you've offered this last round of loving kindness, blessings, or intentions, let thoughts, emotions, and sensations come up. The invitation now is to imagine all of us, one common human family, wherever we are on the arc of awakening to our role in the work of doing justice together, working together to alleviate injustice wherever we are. We're just getting started. We're not sure if this work is for us. We're not sure what our role might be, or if indeed we're sort of on the other end of the spectrum. We're exhausted, we're fatigued, we're trying to open our hearts to those who may be new to the work and replenish ourselves for the work ahead so that we see we're all in it together and we can feel the thread of our common humanity. As we come together seeking yet again to try to alleviate unnecessary suffering in this very human life. The invitation is to see if you can expand the wish for loving kindness to encompass all humanity in this moment. Repeat these phrases. We say them as best we can. We may live our way into really feeling them eventually, or not. Just see if we can open up and experiment with a beginner's mind with this one. May each and all be filled with love and kindness. Every single human being on this planet today, our common humanity. May we each and all be well in body and in mind, wherever we are on the journey to working for justice. May we each and all be safe from inner and outer dangers, grounded in our sense of belonging here on this one planet, this one home that we share. May we each and all be safe from inner and outer dangers, and may we each and all be truly joyful, peaceful, connected, resourced, and free. Now, just allowing what's arising here to kind of dissolve, bringing yourself back to the sensations of just sitting and breathing. As we bring this meditation to a close, I want to invite you to take a few moments to move gently in the sound of the music and to slowly bring yourself back to the space. Thank you. Now's the time for our offertory. And sharing of ourselves is part of every faith. Volunteer efforts are essential, and rent and salaries are paid and programs created and sustained by your contributions. The greeters will pass the baskets for those who choose to make contributions. This congregation is a living entity, and like all living things, it must have nurture and sustenance. If you contribute by pre-authorized withdrawals, thank you. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our lives and the work of the community within it. There's also a QR code being displayed for those of you online or in the sanctuary here. If you use that, it will take you to our donation page. All of your gifts are appreciated. Greeters, please bring me the baskets when the money is collected.
Oh, sweet water, please show me the way to get lost in the sound when the waves come crashing down. Oh, sweet water, please show me the way. I go down to the water at the end of the day. Oh, sweet water, please show me the way to find space in my mind for this river to unwind. Oh, sweet water, please show me the way. I go down to the water each and every day. Oh, sweet water, please show me the way to just let this river flow wherever it may go. Oh, sweet water, please show me the way. Oh, sweet water, please show me the way.
If you have found love and acceptance here, if you have found home here, if you have known kindred spirits here, let this offering be a token of gratitude for our common life as we build the common good. Yes. So we have another congregational song. You'd be welcome to stand if you like, move around if you're able or want to.
Okay, so this is a song called "Better Day," and all these songs so far were my songs. Huh?
Yeah, that's better.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't. Yeah, this is a song. Yeah, "Better Day," and it's by my friend Nigel Barif. So, yeah, like I was saying, all the songs so far are my songs, but this is my friend's song, and this is a song that Suzanne told me she also taught you because she learned it from me and Nigel, and she said that there was this verse that when she sang it, there's this verse that goes. I'm just going to say the words. It's she took it out of the slide actually because we had to talking about it. It's driving less or biking more. It's hard for me to remember when I'm not singing. Driving less or biking more or just walking. Laughing, mindfulness, and talking. These are things we do every day to help us get back to a better way. And she said when she brought it to you guys, you were a little bit concerned about it being a little ableist. And so I talked to my friend, Nigel, and he was really grateful for the feedback. And I proposed that maybe if you guys had suggestions for that verse, because it's kind of like the structure of the song. There's 3 verses, which is a nice number, and the middle verse is kind of like, what are you going to do? And so if we can think about things to fill in the verses with the words, we're not going to sing that now. Or if you guys have any ideas, you could like shout them out, and I could like add them in now. Or maybe we sing the tune so you get the melody in your head. Let's do that. Let's sing like a verse and a chorus, or two choruses and a verse, and then we'll see if you guys have some ideas. We'll do a little workshop here. Yeah. We are fighting for a better day. Fighting for a better day today. Doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. All that matters is fairness and nothing more. Everyone, we are fighting for a better day. Fighting for a better day today. Doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. All that matters is fairness and nothing more. Well, Mother Earth is hurting, can't you see? We can help her if we just can be better in the way we live our lives, so Mother Earth can make sure we survive. We are fighting for a better day. Fighting for a better day today. Doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. All that matters is fairness and nothing more. Okay, so what are we gonna do now? Anybody have an idea now that we've got the tune in our heads?
Driving less, singing more, or just talking? Oh, it's up there already talking.
Oh, she left it in there. She told me she was gonna take it out. Okay. We can sing it. Okay, so we can sing it. It's here. You've got the structure, and I have this paper with some pens, and I'm gonna put them. What's
Table under the display.
Yeah, table under the display, right back there. Like yes, and so like just put some ideas. Nigel will really appreciate it. Okay. All right. Okay, shout out your ideas. I'll try not to get confused. Okay. Well, driving less, biking more, just walking. Laughing, mindfulness, and talking. Try to do these things every day. Will help us get back to a better way. We are fighting for a better day. Fighting for a better day today. Doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. All that matters is fairness and nothing more. Well, we are here for just a short time. Trying to make it last for a long time. Justice, human rights, and peacefulness is what we build with a little forgiveness. I say now we are fighting for a better day. Fighting for a better day today. Doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. All that matters is fairness and nothing more. We are fighting for a better day. Fighting for a better day today. Doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. All that matters is fairness and nothing more. I'm just noticing all the little mistakes in those lyrics, and it's funny because Nigel sent me that build, what we build. That's what he always sings, but that's what he sent me is the lyrics that are there. But,
Okay.
so
I'm going to invite.
I should have fixed it before I came.
It's okay. It's all good. We don't have to be perfect, and we know what we mean, I think. Thank you so much, Cassie. And I'm going to invite Reverend Sally to please come forward and extinguish our chalice. I invite you to sing. Although our chalice has been darkened, we hold the fire within our own hearts.
I invite you to reach out to your neighbor. If you're comfortable doing so, you might take their hand, bump elbows or shoulders, or simply connect in spirit with those who are gathered together today. And as we go back out into the world, may we go with love in our hearts, and love not just in our hearts, but in our hands and feet, in our voices and actions. May we heed the calls of justice that we hear all around us. May we answer those calls with the lives that we live. May you go today in love, go in justice, and when our service ends, may our service begin. Amen.